it's on.
All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Rash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, whom I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to all the Akim, pushing the word and truth in its sincerity. And I just wanted to, quickly dive into this video. And I came across this video or, short clip. And, it's Jake sitting around, discussing how bad food, is always purposely placed in, the so-called black neighborhoods, all right, which, we are the Israelites. We ain't black. Okay. Black is nothing more than a color. All right. We are the Hebrew Israelites according to the scriptures. All right. And, your chief enemy, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and the rest of the heathen. All right, but who's the who's the who's the ringleader of all these restaurants and all these stores, corner stores, liquor stores, things of that nature. Who's the ringleader of these things being placed in the so-called black, so-called black and brown, communities, all right? It's the so-called white man. All right, let's go ahead and play this clip, and then we'll get our scriptures, and then that'll be the end of it.
Purpose. And that's why they'll put in those little bodegas with the liquor and the smoking, and we don't have, a lot of black neighborhoods don't have a Whole Foods or a big grocery store because they keep them. Before you say that,
we got the big grocery store, but they redline the food. The quality of food you get is different than what the quality is at the Ralph's 4 miles away. And they charge us more.
It's sick.
It's starving us. And I'm like, if you starve a person the right way, where they eating stuff that's coming out of a paper plastic bag and stuff, you eating a chemically processed food, now you got the chemicals attacking your brain. If it's attacking your brain, it's attacking your ability to process information, to properly think, to deal with your emotions. Now you committing crimes that you don't even know why are my relationships so toxic? Why do I have to have alcohol so that I can walk outside the house? And it's because it's a war going on and people don't even realize it.
Let's
all right. So hey, Lord willing, we don't lose our place in that video, but if we do, we'll go back and we'll grab it. But, hey, there is a war going on, okay? And the war is physically and spiritually, okay? And it's directed at you Israelites, all right? You're still holding on to that black, that black notion, or you still holding on to that brown notion, or I'm Mexican, I'm Latino, or I'm black, I'm African American. All right, no, Esau Edom knows, beginning with the elites, okay, the who run this society, all right, who control the foods that come into your neighborhood, okay, who control where you live. They control where you work. They control every aspect of your life. They control what you drink. They control your water. All right? And there's a war against you Israelites, man. This is Psalms 83, and this is in the New International Version, NIV, and it reads, "O God, O Yahweh, do not remain silent. Do not turn a deaf ear. Do not stand aloof, O God Yahweh. See how your enemies," okay, and that is a very key word here in this scripture, okay, which you Israelites, you so-called black and Latinos and Native Americans, you still fail to realize that you have enemies. You'll say, there's a war and then there's this and there's that, you know, but you never mention who's doing these things to you. All right, you turn the blind eye. As long as this devil is giving you gifts, and you know, as long as he's giving you you know, fake paperbacks. All right, you Jakes, you know, you turn the blind eye. You don't see this man as your enemy. But time and time again, what he proves that he hates you, or he proves that he is against you. Okay, which meaning what? He's your enemy. How your foes rear their heads with cunning. With cunning, they conspire against your people. All right, we are the Lord's people, man. The Negroes, Latinos, and so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, we are the Israelites from our prospective tribes. Okay, whether you be from the tribe of Issachar, whether you be from the tribe of Judah, okay, Benjamin, okay, whether you be from the tribe of Naphtali, we are the Hebrew Israelites, all right, and we got enemies, man, okay? They conspire against your people, all right? These heathen, beginning with Esau, the so-called white man, they've always been conspiring against us, and we're gonna grab that word "conspire" too as well. But let's get back to the
deserts
video.
in black neighborhoods on purpose.
All right, let's
Why are my relationships so toxic? Why do I have to have alcohol so that I can walk outside the house? Like, and it's because of all, it's like, it's a war going on and people don't even realize it.
Yeah, let's you know, and we talk
It's spiritual warfare, and the devil always come through you through the food first. Every time the devil ever attacked was through food. Every single time. Even when he came for Jesus, he came to him when he was on his, you know, he fasting. He out there like, first he offered him all this food. Look, I got food, wine, water, all the stuff you can eat. What you want? You want this? Jesus said, nah. He's like, I'll make you the king of all of this land, all this.
no, that was she's wrong. Okay, that was the Lord being tempted. All right, he was coming off a fast, and Satan, okay, the spiritual demon Satan, tempted him. Okay, well, that's all it was. He didn't, you know, use the food to. Nah, that was a part of him being tempted by Satan. Okay.
He said, nah, I'm good, player. I'm good. And it's like, but the average man, when you starving, you see that food, you go for it. And then there you go. Hurting a bunch of other people. There you go. Destroying your body, which in turn you'll destroy others. So.
Hey, and I'll tell you this because I didn't even realize sometimes when you're living in it, you know, being born and raised in Crenshaw, in LA, and you know, it is what it is, right? This is your product or whatever it is. And it wasn't until I got married, you know, and my wife, who grew up outside of LA, she comes to LA. We're living and raising our family in the house that I grew up in, and she went over to, it used to be a boys ABC right there on King and Western. And first time, right there on King and Western, and I remember going through, and I said, let me see what she's talking about. And usually they tell you to shop on the outside aisles. That's where all the healthy food is. Yeah. Right? You go on the outside, all processed foods. You take processed food. There's this one little thing where you get a little produce and some meat and whatever like that. And then that's that. Everything else in between the line. Right. I'm like, 90% of the food in here is processed. I go to the store manager and I'm going, yo, like, what's up with this? He goes, this is what the people will buy. I go, bull crap. I said, if you put fresh fruit and you put good food in here, people will buy it. People will buy it. It's like, oh no. And I'm like, wait, this is the biggest trap ever. And then you understand why diabetes and high blood pressure and all of that stuff is consuming our neighborhoods. And then the doctors, you get to the doctors and they want to tell you, oh, you're African American and you're African, you're predisposed to this. I'm not predisposed. I'm only exposed to the worst crap in my neighborhood. But it's set up for our destruction. Yeah. It's they wake up trying to plan our destruction. They don't go to sleep.
Planned. What's happening right now was planned like 50, 60 years ago.
All right, and that's in the scriptures, man. We're reading it. Okay, Psalms 83. They conspire against the Hebrew Israelites. All right, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. This is The AI overview, conspire to conspire means to secretly plan with others to commit an illegal or harmful act. All right, and this is what these nations do, beginning with Esau, the so-called white man. All right, they secretly plan how to destroy the Israelites, man, the Negroes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, their works are in secret. Okay, this is why they call themselves, you know, they're a part of a secret society. You know, they're that's going into, you know, the elites, man, who run everything, man. All right, they're secretly planning how to put the Hebrew Israelites back into captivity. Okay, via this RFID microchip. They're secretly planning on how to murder the Hebrew Israelites, man. All right, they're doing it day in and day out. You could turn on, you could turn on a news station or see a clip of, a so-called white man, all right, or another heathen nation, doing something foul to a so-called Black, Latino, or Native American. All right, it's not, it's not rocket science for you, Jakes, man. All right, you making it rocket science. Oh, they're purposely, okay. Who's, let's go back to the video, and that's the problem, man. You Jakes, you can't, you can't pinpoint, or you can't come out and say who's doing it, man, because that's gonna fuck your checkup. Okay, you can't say, oh, it's in your terms, it's the white man. You can't do that. Well, guess what? The minute Yahweh Shema Shai, we gonna do that, man. It's the Edomites, right? Their biblical nationality. It often implies a hidden, wrongful, or manipulative purpose, such as when people conspire to overthrow the government. All right, and this is this is what Psalms 83 is going into. All right. They're still doing it to this day. Okay? They plot against those you cherish. Come, they say, let us destroy them as a nation, so that the name of Yasharallah, so that Yasharallah's name is remembered no more. Okay? This is what these heathen, okay, outside of the nation of Yasharallah, beginning with Esau, the so-called white man. This is what they discuss. Okay, this is what they discuss at those meetings. All right, for you Jakes who think, they just they're just coming together to, have tea and cupcakes and talk about the economy. No, they're talking about you niggas, man. Okay, just to keep it, quite frank, they're talking about you Jakes. All right? They're also talking about this truth. All right? They see, this truth is growing, so-called growing, and they see, Yasharallah standing back on their feet. Okay, and like the scriptures say, great fear fell upon them. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna try to stop this. They're gonna try to stop, okay, the nation of Yasharallah from coming back together, man. But it's prophecy. It's gonna happen, man. The house of David is going to be reestablished. All right. Let's go back to the video.
Food deserts in black neighborhoods on purpose.
Yep. Predisposed to this. I'm not predisposed. I'm only exposed to the worst crap in my neighborhood.
But it's set up for our destruction.
Yeah.
It's they wake up trying to plan our destruction. They don't go to sleep.
What's happening right now was planned like 50, 60 years ago.
Even with Margaret Sanger and the Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
That Planned Parenthood was made to annihilate black and brown people.
Mhm.
This lady was like, I don't like black people. We got to use it through birth control. She tried to poison. Bill Gates' father was running her company. If we can keep it moving, though, we won't go too far in that. It's
Right, and that's the problem with you Jakes, man. Okay, you don't want to pinpoint who is doing this. Oh, we can't go too far in that, yeah, because you know that check, them checks gonna stop getting printed, man. All right, and that's the problem. All right, this is Jake. As long it ain't nothing changed, man. Back in ancient Egypt, man, as long as Jake, was being fed and being taken care of, Jake didn't mind being servants, man. Jake didn't mind being slaves. All right, actually, they wanted to go back to Egypt. All right, when Moses, freed them, okay, and had them in the wilderness, headed towards the promised land, Jake wanted to go back to Egypt and be slaves again. All right?
our progress.
So really, you Jakes, you don't have a problem with eating poison. As long as you can, have your mansion, and you can drive your Bentleys, and you can drive your Benzes, and you can go on your weak ass vacations. There ain't really no problem. You'll sit around and talk. You'll sit around and bring out certain truths and talk about certain things, but you won't address the elephant in the room, which is the so-called white man. Okay, beginning with the small tops.
What's his name? J. Edgar Hoover said it. The biggest threat to America is black progress. And he was half black.
That part.
And he was head of the FBI.
And he was a homosexual. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. If it would have been, do you think if he would have been alive today with the current times, how it is now, he would be saying that? If he was able to dress like how he liked to dress, if he was able to go to work in girls' panties and a bra.
All right, man. That that's the end of that, man. I just wanted to kind of touch on what they were kind of discussing. All right, because you can all tie these things back to the scriptures. Okay, verse 5, Psalms 83:5. With one mind they plot together. Okay, this is what the New World Order is all about. Okay, the nations being as one. Nimrod was no different. All right, these nations ain't doing that. There's nothing new under the sun. With one mind they plot together. They form an alliance against you. Okay, against who? You so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, this is why your food in your neighborhoods is garbage. This is why it's liquor stores on every corner, man. You go to these Edomites and these Isrealites, all right, these Moabite, neighborhoods, the ones that are doing pretty good for themselves. You go to their neighborhoods, they don't have a liquor store on every corner. They don't have a smoke shop on every corner. They don't have weed dispensaries on every corner in their neighborhood. Why is that? We're reading it, man. It ain't rocket science, man. The tents of Edom. Who was Edom? The so-called white man. This is proven in history, is proven throughout the scriptures. The Isrealites are the so-called Arabs. They know who they are. You go up to a so-called Arab and you mention Ishmael, they'll nod their head in agreement. All right, these heathen know who they are, man. Of Moab. Moab is the so-called Chinese, the Hagarites, the real Africans, man. All right, Biblos, Ammon and Amalek. Ammon is the so-called Japanese. Amalek is the chief house of Esau, Edom. All right, so Esau, he's mentioned twice. Philistia, the Africans, man, the real Africans, the ones that put those bows in their lips and put their heads up cows' behinds and play in manure. All right, the Hebrew Israelites, we don't do stuff like that, man. With the people of Tyre, more Hamites. Okay, so what? These nations know exactly what they're doing. Okay, they keep your diet all jacked up for a reason. Okay, because why? They know who we are, man. They've always known, and they know that the way we eat, all right, because what we have a different makeup than these heathen. Yahweh Shemashai created us different from them. Okay, it goes more than beyond the physical. All right, it's spiritual, man, and they know that our diet is connected to us in a spiritual way, man. This is why it's important to have a care for your diet and your body, man. All right, don't just be stuffing anything up inside your body, man. Eat the best you can in captivity. All right. This is let's see, yep, 2 Corinthians 10:4, and it reads, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal." They mention that we're at war. Yes, we absolutely are at war. Okay, always have been. Okay, when the heathen beginning with Esau, all right, the so-called white man, when he took us into captivity, he declared war against Yahweh Bashar Shai, man. All right, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, meaning what? It ain't it's not in the physical. All right, it's a spiritual warfare. All right, and he heathen know that. All right, Esau knows that, man. Okay, he knows he has to keep us off our square spiritually. And how does he do that? Through the food. Okay, this is why he pushes bacon. Everything got goddamn bacon on it. All right, you want to just go down and have you got a cheat day. If you into the working out and things, you have your certain day where you have you a cheat meal, so to speak. You may want to grab a nice little burger, fries, or what have you. But guess what? This nigga Esau got to put bacon on it. All right, the baconators and bacon this, bacon that. Why is he doing that, man? All right, because he's trying to keep you. He's trying to keep you Israelites disconnected from Yahweh Shema Shai, from your power. Why is he always promoting crab this and king crab legs and down here in the south? All right, the crawfish, especially the further south you go, Louisiana and all that. That's all Jake eat, man. Crawfish, catfish, fried catfish, this and. The further south you go, hey, shit, Jake gon' eat anything, man. Jake could fry a goddamn possum, man. All right, but what? That's destroying. That's destroying you spiritually, man. Disconnecting you from your power source. But mighty through Yahweh Shai to the pulling down of strongholds. And what is a stronghold on our people? The first and foremost the ways of Esau. Our people, they love Esau Edom. They love his ways. They love his diet. The standard American diet. They love, just eating what you want. Ain't the dietary laws done away with. It's all good. It's all good if you pray over it. We can pray over a human leg and it's clean. No, man. The Lord has Yahweh Shema Shai has he has a dietary law, okay, set up for his people, the Hebrew Israelites, and it's for a purpose. All right, it's for a reason, man, and his devil knows that. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this Judith 5:20. Okay, these are the heathen. All right. These are the heathen discussing about the Hebrew Israelites. All right, let's see. I want to go back a little bit further. Yeah. Okay, Judith 5:17, and it reads, "And whilst speaking about the Israelites, okay? And whilst they sin not before their power, before their God, Yahweh Bashim Shai, so these heathen know and understand something. What do they know and understand? That if we go against our God, against the God of the Bible, all right, Yahweh Bashim Shai, the true and living God, okay, they prospered. The heathen know this. All right. So if they can poison your food, all right, and feed you things that go against your power, well, the Lord ain't gonna be with you. All right, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's not gonna be with us, and these heathen know that. Okay, this is why you have the liquor store on every corner. All right, because if you drunk all the time, all right, and you are constantly drinking, you know, you can't, you know, like the Jake woman said, you know, Jake got to drink, Jake got to have a drink just to go outside, man. That's off. Okay, they prosper because their God, their power, Yahweh Bashim Shai, that hateth iniquity was with them. The Lord hates sin, man. All right, the Lord is not gonna deal with us as a nation if we constantly going off. This is why He got the remnant being prepared, man. Okay, which we hope to be a part of. All right, Judah 5:18. But when they departed from the way which He appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore. These heathen know this very well. Okay, they keep us disconnected from Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, you know, Jake drunk all the time. Jake died already, you know, messed up. And even when you try to, you know, correct Jake, you know, and you try to get Jake to just be, you know, I guess what you would call healthy. Jake bucks up. Wow, I don't want to eat. You know, why I gotta eat like that? I like my, you know, I like my this. I like my that. You know, I ain't changing, man. Okay, and we're led captives into a land that was not theirs. This is why we here in America. Okay, we weren't brought here to prosper, man. We wasn't brought here to, you know, to live happily ever after with Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen. No, we were brought here because we went against Yahweh Shema Shai, and the temple of their God, okay, Yahweh Shema Shai, was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. Okay, there go that word enemies again. So it's the Bible is telling you that you Israelites have enemies, and that those enemies insist or consist of the other heathen nation, beginning with Esau, man. Judah 5:19. But now are they returned unto their God, their power, Yahweh Shema Shai, is which is what the elect are doing. All right, they're returning into Yahweh Shema Shai, and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem. All right, this is the ultimate goal, man. It's to get back to the land. All right, get back to our land, Jerusalem, and rule it in righteousness. Okay, with Yahweh Shai, man, and rule over these heathen. Okay, with the iron fist, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country. For it was desolate. Judah, main point, Judah 5:20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, Slaki, if there be any error against this people, so the heathen know that if we are in error, okay, what's a main way that the heathen can get us in error against our power? Through the dietary law, man. All right, they know this is them conspiring against us, man. Push filth, all right. Push a filth diet on these people. Push them eating sea roaches, man. Push them eating the swine. Put it on, put it on everything, man. Put it on burgers. Put it on sandwiches. Why can't I just have a turkey sandwich? Why I gotta have why does it have to be a BLT? Why does it have to have bacon on it? These are things you just gotta ask yourself. Why, I just want a turkey sandwich. Or I just want a chicken sandwich. I don't want a chicken bacon sandwich. Okay? And they sin against their power. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall become them. Right? And, hey, this is why they push, the fifth diet upon our people. All right, this is why they got Ishmael and Moab and Ham pushing nothing but abominations upon our people in these bodegas and these food spots. All right. Hey, even when you go to a so-called halal place, you got some Turkish people or some Isrealites, or some so-called East Indians, some Elamites running the spot, and it's so-called halal, or some Mediterranean spot. Hey, you got to be careful on those too. But even when you a Jake, which I eat a lot of at a lot of halal spots. I eat, a lot of Mediterranean food, because it's decent, it's so-called decent food, you know. But even when you, as a Jake, when you go up in there, them heathen looking at you crazy, man, because most Jake don't eat like that. All right, and that is our way. That's our way of eating. That's really, they got that from us, man. The Mediterranean diet, meats, veggies and onions and, cucumbers and that way of eating, the bread and all that. That's our way of eating. That's our diet, man. But when you're a Jake and you eat like that, you go in there at the heathen, they gon' they looking at you crazy, man, because Jake don't eat like that, man. Jake gotta go to Jake gotta go to the Popeyes, you know. Jake gotta go to the the Mickey D's, you know. The down here in Texas they got the Bill Millers, which they got clean food, according to the dietary law, clean foods there, but they cook a lot of their stuff in pork fat, things like that, man, to make it unclean. All right. So we went it off here, okay? Just to further prove the point, all right, you Jakes, you have enemies, man. All right. Ezra 4:1, and it reads, "Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh Shai of Israel," all right, this is what the elect are doing now. We're building back unto Yahweh Shai. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, "Let us build with you." Okay, you got heathens in that spirit. They trying to tag along. Hey, we want to be Hebrew Israelites. God loves every. Nah, man. The Lord is only dealing with Yasharala, man, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. For we seek your power, as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Hadan, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Yasharala said unto them, "Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God." All right, Yahweh Shai. These heathen, they know this, man. They know the Lord is only dealing with us. But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord Yahweh Shai power of Yasharala, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us. Verse 4, then the people of the land weaken the hands of the people of Judah. All right, why? Because they're the enemies, man. The heathen are the enemy. Okay? They've always done this, man. They've always weakened when we tried to build anything, man. Okay, you go back to all the so-called, black towns that Jake had, uh, uh, Rosewood, what was that? What was the one out there in Oklahoma? You got, Black Wall Street, and many more, man. Many, many, many more. What did Esau do? He came and threw a monkey wrench in there. He weakened the hands, all right, and troubled them in building. And I wasn't even nothing righteous, man. That was just on some carnal shit. Okay, but that's in their nature, man. That's in their spirit. And hired counselors against them. Same thing they doing now to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, the king of Persia. All right. So you Jakes, man. You Jakes, you gotta understand that you got enemies. All right, beginning with Esau, Edom. All right, the so-called Arabs, they're your enemies. The Isrealites, the Moabites, so-called Chinese, they're your enemies. Okay, the real Africans, the Hamites, they're your enemies. Oh, those are brothers, brother. Nah, man, those the ones that go back to him, they are enemies, man, and they don't like you, Jakes, man. Okay, they don't like it. They ain't trying to build nothing with you, man. They ain't come over. They ain't trying to, bring you Jakes back over there, to the land of Ham and build with you like that. No, even when Jake go over there, they don't want you niggas over there, man. All right. All right, and just just to cap it off, because I didn't want this lesson to be too drawn out, too long. Just wanted to be straight to the point. But when I fear the enemies of Yasharallah in the Bible range from neighboring tribes to regional empires, often acting as threats during the conquest and settlements of Canaan. Key adversaries included the Amalekites, okay? Who are the Amalekites? The so-called Jews, okay? The tiny tops, all right? And you'll find a lot of these places that purposely, destroy Jake. They're run and owned by these Amalekites, man. A persistent enemy, all right? These who attacked us when we was first coming out of Egypt? Esau, man, the Amalekites, man. Ain't nothing changed. Philistines, the so-called Africans, major power, Canaanites, more Africans, Midianites, Moabites, the so-called Chinese. Okay, this is why you got them Chinese restaurants. And, you notice a lot of those Chinese, so-called Chinese restaurants, they're all builded around Jake, Jake neighborhoods, man. You think that's done by surprise or coincidence? Nah, it's done on purpose because they serving abominations, man. That ain't chicken, man. Hey, Moab nasty as hell. Moab serving dog, cat, rats. Okay, anything they can get their hands on, they're gonna serve it to you, Jakes, man. And later empires like Assyria, Babylon, and Rome, Edomites. All right, so yeah, low willingness was edifying. Okay, and you Jakes recognize and get the point that these heathen are your enemies, man, and they purposely, set these food spots, liquor stores, all right, smoke shops. They purposely, set them in your neighborhoods to destroy you. Okay, you better wake the hell up, you Jakes, man. All right, but with that, we'll close the lesson out. Lord willing, it was edifying. Until the next time, shalom.